What do you think about this picture? How do you feel seeing all these geometrical patterns repeating and joining each other? Do you feel dizzy? Or do you feel a sense of mystery which cannot be described by words? Whatever your feeling is, you can definitely find someone who had the same feeling towards with repetitive geometrical patterns. And you can definitely find someone in the past who had the same feeling as you. In fact, geometry is used in so many creative areas, such as video games, product design, and even credit cards have been designed around a geometric ideal. But perhaps the one thing that might immediately spring to your mind is the geometric patterns in architecture, especially religious architecture. Surely, geometry is a field in mathematics, and architecture is a representation of religion. Yet, what is geometry in religious architecture? And what are the people thinking when they are putting up such intricate geometrical patterns in a place of worship? To answer these questions, let's take a look at one of the largest and oldest existing religion in the world, Islam. Although geometric designs can be identified among the artifacts created by people in almost every culture, past or present, nobody has designed and used them with the skill, knowledge, and sophistication of the artists working in the Islamic world. Now, the geometry we are concerned is certainly beyond what we have learned in secondary school about all those reasons and theories to find angles or to prove two lines perpendicular. Instead, what we are concerned now is the geometry that deepens our understanding of a God whose design of the universe is suffused with underlying exquisite rhythms and proportions. In the Islamic world, the Alhambra is perhaps the summit of which Islamic aesthetic and functional complexity can ever reach. The Alhambra is a palace located in Granada, Spain. It is originally constructed as a small fortress in AD 889, and it is largely renovated and rebuilt in the mid-13th century by a Muslim emirate. Later, in 1333, it was converted into a royal palace by Yusuf I, Sultan of Granada. The Alhambra was extended by different Muslim rulers who lived in the complex. However, each new section that was added followed the consistent theme of the paradise on earth. Column arcades, fountains with running water, and reflecting pools were used to create a heaven on the earth. Among all the things to see and admire in the Alhambra Palace, the mosaics are perhaps the most interesting and intriguing. Let's take a look at a few mosaics from the Alhambra Palace. Mosaic usually refers to a decorative art form where images is constructed using small colored pieces of building materials. They are usually two-dimensional, flat, or curved image. As we can see, mosaic are in some sense an art form where a certain recognizable pattern is repeated. The way it is repeated is usually in distinct directions, like horizontal and vertical. So from this intuitive idea of a mosaic, we can obtain the corresponding mathematical concept, a tiling, or a tessellation. To form a tiling means to cover a plane with various geometric forms in a way that leaves no gaps and does not allow overlaps. Now here, I would like to draw a link between these tessellation and the Muslims' metaphysical concept. First, we should know that the immense use of tessellation is related to the principle of aniconism in Islam. That said, Muslims avoid demonstrating visual representations or images of sentient beings in some forms like humans or animals. From the pictures, we can see that the faces of prominent religious figures in Islamic art are all covered. Their faces are not shown. This is because Islam prohibits the worship of idols, and Muslims believe that the creation of living forms is God's prerogative. So, under this line of thinking, if Muslims want to express a sense of mysticism and ecstasy, geometrical forms and patterns can do the job by providing a level of abstraction. The theologians selected geometry as a medium of conveying images of God. Second, geometry was viewed as a force capable of unifying the domains of sacred and the secular. This is associated with the belief that a God is the geometer of the world. The basic belief is that geometry and mathematical ratios, harmonics, and proportions are also found in cosmology. And by connecting with these patterns, a believer contemplates the great mystery and the great design. And by studying the nature of these geometrical patterns, insights may be gained into the mysteries, and the believer can eventually know the laws and lore of the universe. So, for my short and in some ways superficial attempt, I have tried to demonstrate that mathematics and religion are perhaps in some way interrelated. And there's always a common fear among art students towards the subject and exploration of mathematics. And most often, they are very reluctant in even doing simple calculations. And there is a mindset among them, thinking that mathematics is something alien and incomprehensible, such that they lack the capacity to do maths. Now, I do not wish to explore into the topic of whether one is born cleverer or more capable of others in terms of a specific area of knowledge. But I do think that some kinds of human perceptions are metaphysical. And to explain this kind of perception about relationships, causes, and ultimate reality, we might need special symbols or languages. From the Arabic experience, I think geometry might be the answer. It might be the symbol to speak about individuality and unity of things, to speak about the nature of infinite. To end with a quote, it is believed that the study of sensible geometry leads skills in all practical arts, while the study of intelligible geometry leads to skill in intellectual arts. This science is one of the gates through which we move to the knowledge of the essence of the soul, and that is the root of all knowledge. In fact, is there a root of all knowledge? Can mathematics lead us the way? Is geometry and mathematics the ultimate knowledge? To answer these questions, I believe, is one way to build a bridge between religion and mathematics.